If you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like, what are you waiting on? Go now.
So we are going to get into some cons of being in the military. Welcome to my life as I live it. I'm Army Princess, the mother, wife, and soldier, and I want to share this journey with you. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe now so you don't miss a moment of it.
If you're with me, women, let me hear you say.
Hard work, work, another day to work. Hard work, that's what they say.
One of the cons that I would say about being in the military is long hours and time away from your family. Like I said, you have to do PT. Depending on your unit, depending on your duty station, depending on your job, you may or may have to do PT every morning. PT is physical training. That's push-ups, sit-ups, run, you know, lift weights, whatever they have you doing for PT on that particular day. So for example, my PT is at 5 o'clock, which means I need to be in formation 10 minutes prior. I need to be in formation at 04:50 in the morning, and that's not even including, you know, my long work day. So I go to PT on Fridays at 04:50. PT is about an hour. Shower, get changed, eat breakfast. I'm at work by 8 o'clock. My shift is from 8 to 5, or it could be 8 to 6. So I've literally worked over a 12-hour day, and then I go home, I go to sleep. I still have a wife. I still have a husband. I still have a child. I still have to cook, clean, you know, do my regular daily duties, and do YouTube, and then get up and do it all over again the next day. So it definitely could be some long hours and time away from home. My particular job, I don't go to the field, but depending on the job you choose, you can go to the field. What that means is you and your unit go out in the field for a week to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long you go out in the field for. And so that means you're away from home and you're away from your family for that length of time. If you get deployed 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, you're away from your family for that length of time. So that is definitely something you want to take into consideration. You want to weigh your pros and cons. So I would definitely say that's probably one of the biggest cons of being in the military. Another con for being in the military would be regulations. So there are, literally there is a regulation for everything. A regulation, a SOP, a AR, a FM on how to do probably basically everything in the military. When I say from how to wear your hair, to how to wear your uniform, to how to write a military letter, to how to open up your section for the day. There's a SOP or a regulation for everything. So one of the biggest pet peeves that people might have as far as regulations are concerned is grooming standards. So for men, you can't wear a beard unless you have some type of religious reasoning why you have to wear a beard. You cannot have long hair. You can't have braids. You can't have dreads. You can't have any of that. There's literally a length regulation on how long your hair has to be. Same for females. If you wear your hair down, it cannot touch your collar. So if you have shoulder length hair, it cannot touch your collar. If you have long hair, it has to go up in a bun or some type of way that is tucked up and off of your shoulders. Braids have to be within certain regulations. I can't wear like this decoration in my hair. Nails, there's a regulation on the length of your nails. We cannot wear any color on our nails. So those are definitely stipulations and regulations that a lot of people get annoyed with, but it is part of the job. So you either want free healthcare or you want to wear pink nails. You choose and you decide what's best for you. Another con that has kind of made my list is that you move a lot. So typically, usually, depending on your job, depending on your organization, depending on your MOS, you may or may not move every, I would say, 3 to 5 years. With that being said, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. Moving, for me, is always fun. It's like I'm going to meet new people, I'm going to get to a new location, I'm going to meet, you know, see a different part of a job that I do. But on the flip side, who likes to move? Like, who likes to pack up their whole house? Even though the military will pack it up for you. Who likes to pack up their whole house and you get to the next place and now you got to unbox everything? For my daughter, she'll have to start at a new school every 3 to 5 years. You have to keep up with records. You make friends at one duty assignment and then in 3 years you move, or your kids make best friends and in 3 years they move. So that is definitely a con that I don't think people really think about, but you can look at it good and bad. That's why I say they're not necessarily cons, but it is kind of sad when you make really good friends and then in 3 years you move and you may or may not ever see those people again. But there's always Facebook. So another con of being in the military that I would say is that it's not always family friendly. It's not always about leaving your family. It's just the hours. So that I would consider it not really family friendly because, like I said, I have to be to work at 04:50 on Friday when I have to do PT. So what does that mean for Giselle when my husband is gone? Giselle got to get her little butt up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 4:30 in the morning and go to daycare. And she's there all the way up until 6 o'clock when I get out. There's no regulation on how long your child is in daycare. So literally sometimes, depending on your job, the daycare can raise your kids for you. I remember when we first got here and Giselle was learning to walk and talk, she would ask for her teachers on the weekends because she was with them all day during the week. So to her, that's who she saw more. That's who played with her. That's who talked to her. That's who helped her, were her teachers on the weekends. So that for me is something that really hits home, and I think that's a con that people don't really think about, is that you could literally be at work for 12 hours. I know I had 24-hour duty. You may have 24-hour duty on the weekends where you have to stay at work for 24 hours. So if it's a Saturday, it sucks because your child is with a friend, with family members, or what have you, all day when they've been away from you all week. So that is definitely a con that I would say, which is kind of top on my list. So one of the last and biggest pet peeves, or cons I should say, that a lot of people deal with and don't realize until they join the military is that you basically kind of sort of lose your freedom of speech. I said this in other videos. You cannot talk bad about the president, whoever he may be or she may be at the time. That is your commander-in-chief. That is your boss. You cannot talk bad about them. You can't participate in any racism, any sexism, any religious things that might discriminate people. That is a zero tolerance in the military. You can't, your Facebook and your social media is not your Facebook and your social media. Once you put it out on the internet, it's out there forever. So if I come home from work one day and vent about my boss, per se, and then I got friends that are my Facebook friends, but they work with me and they're my supervisors, and they see that, then they can come up, what is the word? Then they can file UCMJ actions on me, which is like legal actions on me. So I cannot vent on social media about really anything that has to go on with work. I remember when the whole transgender or don't ask, don't tell thing came out and people were going to social media and talking about it, whether it was, you know, good or bad, whatever the case may be. You just can't put a lot of things like that out on the military, especially because I would say the main reason is because when people see a service member write X, Y, and Z on their social media, they don't think that that's Ashley that wrote that. It's the military feels like that. A lot of people take that as it's not me that's writing it, but I'm speaking on behalf of the military. So I'm not able to speak on behalf of the military. That's why a lot of my videos that I post aren't, I try to stay within regulation and not so much my opinion. It's my experiences because the things have happened to me, but I don't speak on my opinion. I speak on facts. I speak on my experiences because I don't want to say anything on behalf of the Army. The things that I say are on behalf of me as a person and as a soldier who serves in the Army. So that is it, guys. This was kind of a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I know a lot of people were looking forward to pros and cons of the military, and I tried to give a little bit of a different spin on it, not the usual things like, oh, school, and oh, travel, and oh, you know, healthcare. We all know that those are pros of being in the military, but I feel like there are other things that people wouldn't necessarily think of or wouldn't necessarily know about unless they're in the military. So I'm happy to share that with you all. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sticking around for this series, and I will see you all tomorrow at noon. Bye.